Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens, this is Newswatch.
Ohio University officially has a new president. Good evening, I'm Chelsea Sick. Thanks for joining us. Dwayne Nellis is the school's 21st president after being named by Ohio University's Board of Trustees this afternoon. Nellis was the final candidate in the search after the other three finalists all dropped out the week of February 6th. His first day as OU's president will be July 1st, and in the meantime, David DeScutner will serve as the school's interim president. During his presidential forum in January, Nellis said diversity and transparency are two vital parts of serving as the president. Nellis served as Texas Tech's president from June 2013 to January 2016 and was also the president at University of Idaho from 2009 until 2013. 6 new challengers for Athens City Council seats in the May primary are hoping to bring a new perspective to city government. While the number of candidates is not unusual, the number of new faces to the process is. Alexander Moore joins us live with the sudden emergence of these political newcomers.
These newbies to Athens politics say they have ideas that will be beneficial to the city. But why the sudden increase in new faces on the ballots this year? The 6 newcomers for Athens City Council are Sarah Grace, Arian Smedley, Eric Gunn, Samuel Kroll, Abe Alisoff, and Kerry Whitman. There are 3 at-large city council seats up for grabs, while the 2nd and 3rd ward seats are also open. There are only 7 spots total on the Athens City Council, 4 ward seats and 3 at-large city council seats. Mayor Steve Patterson says the number of candidates running does not surprise him.
It's not the largest. When I ran for city council at large back in 2012, there were 6 candidates running for 3 seats, and then when I ran for re-election in 2013 for a 14 to 16 term, there were 5 candidates, so it was similar.
So if the number of candidates is similar to years past, why so many new faces on this year's ballot? Ohio University graduate student Kerry Whitman says she's running for one of the at-large seats because she thinks she has what it takes.
I love Athens. I think it's a really unique place. There's a really good sense of community here. I think that my research background and my experience with the Voight School, combined with my experience working with communities on environmental issues through AmeriCorps, I think that all of those things prepare me pretty well to make the kinds of decisions that a council member would make.
Candidate Eric Gunn, co-owner of the Union Bar and Grill, says he'll bring his Athens business experience to council.
You know, being an employer in Athens and understanding, the realities of doing business in Athens and that kind of thing. I think it's something that I think it'd be a good change of pace for council to have somebody with a little more of that voice to offer.
We reached out for comment from the other candidates who didn't get back to us. The League of Women Voters of Athens County will host several open forums for these candidates. Those dates will be announced sometime in April. Reporting for WOUB, I'm Alexander Moore.
Thanks, Alexander. Sexual assault charges against a former OU student have been dropped, but his legal troubles are not over. Cameron Wilson pled guilty to 5 counts of trafficking Xanax. Wilson reportedly ordered the drug online for himself and his friends. He has to complete a diversion program that includes drug counseling. If he doesn't complete the program, he could go to jail. Athens County Commissioner wants action on the Ginsburg injection well. Commissioners will send a letter to the Ohio Department of Natural Resources asking the agency to enforce its regulations. They're asking for an investigation into whether there have been any criminal violations at the well, and if so, to prosecute. The Nelsonville Music Festival has announced the 2nd round of acts. The Athens Messenger reports 18 artists have been selected so far to perform, and according to a press release, Stewart's Opera House plans to announce more acts in the future. This 4-day music festival will be held June the 1st through the 4th at Robbins Crossing and Hocking College, and is the 13th annual music festival Nelsonville has put on.
Good evening and welcome to the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm Adriana Davies. These past few weeks in Athens, we have felt way above average temperatures for this time of the year. It's kind of been like a little bit of a spring tease for us as well. But those temperatures will begin to drop back into the average, and we'll see a little bit of a warm up again into next week as well. But as for right now in Athens, 55 degrees under mostly cloudy skies with winds from the south at 5 miles an hour. Right now around the region, 56 down in Ironton, Ripley, and over in Marietta, and 58 as our regional high up in Columbus and over in Newark. Our overnight lows for the area, 52 in Athens and Jackson, 54 over in Chillicothe, 56 up in Columbus with partly cloudy skies with a slight chance of rain for everyone. Our overnight hour by hour for the area, by 8 p.m., 58 degrees. By midnight, we'll see 54, and by 4 a.m., 53 degrees with mostly cloudy skies throughout the night. Now back over to you, Chelsea.
A program that helps families with children who have disabilities could be cut down. The Ohio Bureau of Children with Medical Handicaps helps with medical services for children born with developmental and physical challenges. In the past, it served any families that come to it for help with their child. Under Governor Kasich's new proposed budget, families would have to meet the Medicaid poverty criteria to be eligible for the program. Ohio drivers may be paying more to get their license plate or driver's license in the near future. One change proposed yesterday would allow county commissioners to levy a new $5 fee for Ohio license plates. Service fees paid to deputy registrars who run the Ohio Bureau of Motor Vehicles offices also would increase under the proposed changes. The service fees would rise from $3.50 to $5.25. Miami University is trying to counteract the use of fake IDs. The Cincinnati Enquirer reports the latest idea is to put birthdays on student ID cards so underage students can't use it as a second form of ID. That will make it easier for bartenders to spot potential underage drinkers. Miami had a virtual town hall meeting last week for more than 200 parents on the topic of alcohol abuse on campus. A recent alcohol-related death at the school was 18-year-old Miami University student Erica Bushick in January. Ohio is making progress in reducing the state prison population. Proposed legislation would keep offenders who are on parole from going back to prison if they commit technical violations like mandatory meetings. This would also allow more offenders to petition to have their records sealed and allow judges more discretion when sentencing to parole. The hope is to keep nonviolent offenders out of prison. The Ohio Supreme Court says it will hear a dispute over whether to release the full autopsy reports in the murders of 8 family members near Piketon. 7 adults and a teenage boy of the Roden family were found shot to death at 4 different homes in April. The Cincinnati Enquirer and Columbus Dispatch filed lawsuits seeking the full copies of the reports. The Attorney General's office is fighting the release. 2 women died and 2 adults were injured in an early morning house fire. Officials say the fire was reported at 3:30 this morning by a neighbor in eastern Kentucky. When fire crews got there, flames were coming out of the door and windows. One person was unharmed. The Ashland fire captain said firefighters could not find any smoke detectors in the home. Wild oregano oil could be the cure you need for your cold and flu symptoms this winter. North America's leading expert on medicinal spices, Dr. Cass Ingram, says oregano oil will quickly eliminate the pain and inflammation from a sore throat. She says a few drops of the oil on the skin next to the nose could also cure a runny nose. Ingram also says wild oregano is the best potent medicine against the flu. The oil used for medicinal purposes is not the type you can find at the grocery store and is made from a unique species of plants around the world. A Seattle mayor held an unconventional State of the City address to voice his support for protecting immigrants. That story plus protesters had their last day to gather at the Standing Rock campsite in North Dakota. Hear what they had to do on the controversial pipeline in North Dakota when Newswatch returns.
University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
The student body here at Ohio University absolutely is a family.
The students support one another.
You become this unit, this big, friendly family unit.
There's this connectedness.
You feel a part of something.
Driving in on the highway and just seeing the red bricks and the trees again, it's just like coming back home.
There's great students, great professors.
You just walk around campus and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I go here.
I feel like I matter in the community, and I feel like I matter here at Ohio University.
It's home. Athens is home. I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, this is it. And she said, the tour's just started. I said, no, you don't understand. This is it.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Eric II, the host of Hardwood Heroes. You should watch our program Sundays at 11 o'clock p.m. Any important and relevant information you need about Southeast Ohio high school basketball, we have. During the week, keep up with our online content at woub.org/heroes. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Hardwood Heroes. You can follow your boy as well at junior_3. As always, I'm Eric II, reminding you to be heroic.
The governor of North Dakota set a deadline this afternoon for the final remaining protesters to vacate the Standing Rock campsite. The weeks-long protests against an oil pipeline have generated national attention, but those efforts could be coming to an end. Kristen Holmes has the latest.
Officials in North Dakota planning to remove the final protesters from the Standing Rock campsite, ending a chapter in the opposition to a major oil pipeline that will run over 1,000 miles long. The governor setting a Wednesday deadline for the protesters to vacate.
We are going above and beyond, trying to facilitate people leaving the area so cleanup crews can come in.
So that construction on the last part of the pipeline can continue. But some demonstrators vowing to stay.
And we're not leaving.
There are people who are going to stay, but they are going to stay in a peaceful, prayerful manner.
Officials offering a bus ticket and a wellness check for those who choose to follow the evacuation order. All others are subject to a fine or arrest. The question is how officials will remove any protesters refusing to leave.
As far as any law enforcement operations that will be conducted, that is yet to be seen.
Protesters saying they believe it could get ugly.
And they will come in with the riot gear, they will come in with force, and they have more agents, federal agents. They have a bigger force this time than we've probably ever seen before.
Law enforcement saying the extra boots on the ground are for the people's safety. Eventually, the pipeline will span across 4 states, moving crude oil through the Midwest, following recent executive actions signed by President Trump advancing the project. In Washington, I'm Kristen Holmes.
At the peak of protests, the camp's population climbed to as many as 10,000 people. Today, just over 100 stayed to march. Seattle Mayor Ed Murray is moving out of City Hall to show his efforts in protecting immigrants. The mayor chose a mosque to present his State of the City address on Tuesday. This is the first time the address was delivered outside of City Hall. The mayor says he hopes this will send a clear message to the White House.
We are here today for the same reason that we have stood up for civil rights in our African American churches. We are here because we are a welcoming city to all.
Murray faced some criticism for holding a government address in a place of worship, but many of Seattle's residents supported the idea. Amazon is making it even easier for consumers to shop online. Amazon has lowered its free shipping minimum for non-Prime members from $49 to $35. Bouncing back to lower shipping rates could be a move to compete with Walmart and local businesses. On Wall Street today, stocks ended mostly lower after a drop in the price of crude oil. Here's a look at stocks of local interest. Evacuations have increased as a result of major flooding in San Jose, California. That story still ahead.
And we'll talk about how that rain might affect us later in next week with a cool down on its way. We'll talk about that and more up next in my extended forecast.
Professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, "This is it." And she said, "The tour's just started." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is it."
The student body here at Ohio University absolutely is a family.
The students support one another.
You become this unit, this big, friendly family unit.
There's this connectedness.
You feel a part of something.
Driving in on the highway and just seeing the red bricks and the trees again, it's just like coming back home.
There's great students, great professors.
You just walk around campus and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I go here.
I feel like I matter in the community, and I feel like I matter here at Ohio University.
It's home. Athens is home.
Welcome back to Newswatch. Residents in parts of California are dealing with floodwaters after getting drenched by weeks of heavy rain. The National Weather Service says upwards of 2 inches of rain fell in San Jose in just 48 hours. Cars and trucks were caught in deep water after a creek raged over its banks Tuesday morning. The breach came from a water rushing down a spillway at the Anderson Reservoir, which swelled more than 105% above capacity after recent storms. Nearly 200 people have been evacuated as of 3:30 Eastern Time.
Welcome back to the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm Adriana Davies. And later on this week, we might actually see some of that rain from the California floods sink into our area and affect us. But as for right now, it'll remain relatively dry. Maybe into the weekend, we'll start to see that. Right now in Athens, 55 degrees, partly cloudy skies with winds from the south at 5 miles an hour. Right now around the region, 56 down in Ironton and over in Ripley, 58 up in Newark and over in Columbus as well. Our almanac for today, well above average temperatures as we've been seeing, keeping up with the trends. Our record was 66 and we were at 57, so we're kind of coming up on that. Friday they are predicting 76 for the Athens area, which will be record-breaking temperatures, so we stand to break some more records this winter. 50 is our low, whereas the normal was 23 for this time of the year, which is pretty big difference. Tonight, our precipcast, it's looking relatively dry. You could see all of the rain and precipitation over the Midwest area, and you can see that start to transition into our area. There will be a slight chance of rain into tonight, tomorrow morning-ish, and then you'll see that rain start to affect us, move over into the rest of the week. Tonight in Athens, our low is 52, patchy fog, late, slight chance of rain, with winds that are light and variable. Again, 52 as our low is relatively high for this time of the year, so soak that up while we can. I know Sunday is supposed to be a little bit chillier. Our overnight lows for the area, 50 degrees down in Ripley as our regional low, 56 up in Columbus, and 55 over in Newark. Like I said, slight chance of rain for the area as well, but mostly cloudy skies otherwise. At the bus stop tomorrow morning, 55 degrees, patchy fog throughout the morning. I know we saw patchy fog on Monday as well, so keep an eye out for low visibility on your morning commutes with winds from the south at 0 to 5 miles an hour. Tomorrow in Athens, 70 degrees as our high, well above average. Again, fog in the morning, and there is a slight chance for afternoon rain showers. Our high around the area, relatively low 70s, upper 60s, 69 in New Lexington, 72 down in Ironton with mostly cloudy skies around the area, 55 by 8 a.m., 64 by noon, and 69 by 4 p.m. Our extended forecast, you can see Friday will be a little bit of almost a summer tease for our area, but temperatures will begin to drop off as we see the precipitation come in on Saturday morning. Now back over to you, Chelsea.
Thanks, Adriana. Spring and summer are right around the corner, and that doesn't just mean bathing suit season, it means mosquitoes. Some health experts consider the tiny flying insects the most deadly creatures on the planet. But scientists and researchers are starting to come up with new mosquito control methods using common household items. Mary Maloney has more.
Malaria, dengue, yellow fever, Zika. Diverse diseases, but all deadly and all transmitted by mosquitoes. Researchers around the world have been brainstorming ideas to tweak everyday products and thus decrease the number of people bitten and infected per year. One of those products is a chair, retrofitted with a bespoke fabric coated in mosquito repellent. The fabric is attached to the underside of the chair, so a person using it never comes into contact with the repellent. That's because the insecticide used is volatile in nature. It evaporates easily and can repel at a greater distance, but could be harmful to skin. According to the project's director, prototypes of this fabric have shown protection for up to 6 months. Products containing different insecticide compounds, ones that can be safely used on skin, are also being developed. Anti-mosquito soaps are being tested. The repellent is designed to stay on skin after the soap is washed off. Wearable technology is another focus, and no, we're not talking about your Fitbit. Clothing containing mosquito repellent could protect people throughout the day, and special detergent could extend effectiveness of clothing containing repellent. Other products on the horizon include footwear and jewelry. For today's Health Minute, I'm Mary Maloney.
You can also use common mosquito spray repellents found at most local stores to keep the bugs at bay. Now let's head over to Thomas with a look at sports.
I'll explain how one team in the TVC Hawking had their season come to an end and how another hit a speed bump in their final regular season game before postseason play. Also coming up, I'll tell you why the men were able to pick up another MAC win behind the performances of 2 Bobcats and what the Lady Bobcats need to do to get back on track. Stay tuned to WOUB, and here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Eric II, the host of Hardwood Heroes. You should watch our program Sundays at 11 o'clock p.m. Any important and relevant information you need about Southeast Ohio high school basketball, we have. During the week, keep up with our online content at woub.org/heroes. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Hardwood Heroes. You can follow your boy as well at junior_3. As always, I'm Eric II, reminding you to be heroic.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything. Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous. Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, this is it. And she said, the tour's just started. I said, no, you don't understand. This is it.
Welcome back, I'm Thomas Garber. Last night, the men's team traveled to Oxford in another battle for the bricks. The Bobcats would come away victorious for their 4 straight wins, 79-62. The Bobcats were led by emerging star freshman Jason Carter, who had a double-double in this one, finishing with 25 points and 11 rebounds. Carter was also aided by the services of junior Jerron Simmons, who surpassed 1,000 points for his career, finishing the game with 21. The Bobcats are back in action this Saturday when they travel to Kent State to take on the Golden Flashes, hoping to extend their win streak to 5. For the women, it hasn't been smooth sailing as it's been for the men. The Bobcats dropped both of their games last week to Central Michigan and Kent State in the process. The Bobcats fell behind the Golden Flashes in the MAC East and now sit 5th overall in the conference. They take on Buffalo tonight in the combo with tip-off set for 7 p.m. The Bobcats are hoping to regain their swagger heading into MAC tournament play, and that starts with getting their role players going again so that Kira Lampkins doesn't have to do all the scoring duties. It's postseason play in the TVC Ohio, and another team saw their championship aspirations come to an end. In a toss-up 8-9 matchup, the Eastern Eagles were unable to defeat the Green Bobcats as they fell 59-50. The Eagles dominated for the vast majority of this game, but the Bobcats made a late push that allowed them to pull away. It also helped that the Bobcats were able to slow down Eagles senior star Jet Facemeyer, who wasn't able to put a stamp on this one. He finished his last game in green and white with 14 points and will be tough to replace going forward. The Eastern Eagles may be out, but for their TVC Hawking rival Trimble, the Tomcats still remain a threat to make a run in tournament play. However, the Tomcats suffered a setback last night, getting upended in a thriller with Southern, losing 58-56 on senior night. The game concluded and the Tomcats finished the regular season in second place of the TVC Hawking. They will quickly look to put that loss behind them as they take on the winner of Belpre in South Gallia on March 1st as the 3 seed. Looking ahead at other Ohio sports, there's a couple of dates to keep an eye on. The wrestling team will be competing in the MAC Championship in Cedar Falls, Iowa, a week from Saturday. The baseball team welcomes in the SIEU Cougars Friday for a 4-game series. This team currently sits at 3-1, winning their last game against Butler 4-0. The golf team travels to Longwood, Florida for a tournament this Monday. The team is coming off finishing 7th of 14th in their last tournament and are hoping to get into the top 5 this time. I'm Thomas Garvick, and that's it for sports. Back to Adriana.
Thank you, Thomas. Tonight in Athens, 52 degrees as our low, patchy fog, and a slight chance of rain with winds that are light and variable. Keep in mind that rain might be hit or miss. There is a chance that it could happen, but don't bank on that actually happening. Our high for tonight, or for tomorrow, 70 degrees, morning fog, and afternoon rain showers. So the rain will begin to set in tomorrow evening for sure, with winds from the south at 0 to 5 miles an hour. Our extended forecast, 76 on Friday, a little bit of a summer tease, but we will see temperatures begin to drop back off after the rain kind of cools things off on Saturday. Into the next week, we will see temperatures jump back up, but will remain relatively above average for the middle end of February as well. Now over to Chelsea for our goodbyes.
Thanks, Adriana. And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Chelsea Sick. Stay tuned for the PBS News Hour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at woub.org. Have a great night.